Alright, so with Enshrouded's most recent update, there has been a number of new skills that have just been added to the game. One of the most frustrating things getting started out in Enshrouded is picking the right one. Now, granted, it's fairly easy to reset these once you have already chosen them. However, in a lot of cases, you can get frozen by analysis paralysis. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and cover the skills that I believe are the most important to have at least somewhere in your build, depending on what works for you. Now, there's a wide variety of builds, so I'm going to cover the ones that I think are kind of like the most overpowered early game skills, and it can really help out in your first 50 hours. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Enshrouded content. All right, so first off, I can't speak on this skill enough, and it essentially rewrites how you interact with the entirety of this world. Double jump. It's a game changer, and it's a must need every build. No matter what build I do, I am including the double jump. It only costs a couple of points, but trust me, it is worth like every single one. So Enshrouded's world is very vertical. It's all cliffs, huge towers, like all these ledges. There's a lot of up. And double jump is your key to getting to all these up places. It makes any kind of annoying platforming puzzles like an absolute joke. It really helps you snag treasure chests if they are otherwise out of the way. And most importantly, it's a lifesaver in a fight, and I cannot stress that enough. If you get cornered by a group of enemies, you can essentially just double jump up and out of the way and then pick them off, especially if they are melee enemies. If you're just learning how a boss is attacking, double jumping in and out of the way will give you basically all the space that you need. The idea is this is like a key to mobility and exploration, honestly. It is the biggest boost to your mobility in the game, hands down. Make you faster, makes you safer, so to speak, and it opens up the map like nothing else. Honestly, I can't stress this one enough. This is one that I include in every single build, regardless of which way I'm going. Now, one that I only ended up getting after it was way too late is the Updraft skill. It's off towards the assassin branch, but Updraft lets you hit the jump button while you are gliding to get a small but honestly decent boost in your height. It does cost mana, but the utility that you get from it is incredible, and it's unmatched. Especially when you're jumping up and off of the ancient spires, getting that little extra boost can mean the difference between you getting over a hedge or a large mountain range or falling just short of it. It extends your glide range, it lets you cross huge chasms a lot easier, it makes getting to other places that would be otherwise impossible possible. It's really good, especially if you're exploring the Shroud or you're trying to get to the other side of Shrouds. It allows you to get a little bit of height as far as understanding your bearings, and honestly, I've even used it with a combination of double jump to get out of like sticky situations, getting up and out and flying away. I would even stress that combo makes traversal in the world a hell of a lot easier. It'll save you some time, definitely, from just running around and climbing. But honestly, I stress this, it's very cheap, even for any kind of melee build where you don't have a lot of mana regen. It's very easy to use, and it's very, very good. Now, some of the other skills that I would make a note for, specifically if you're going anywhere near the intelligence tree, is going to be the water aura. It's in the blue healer branch, and it makes you and nearby allies regenerate health based off of your intelligence. This is honestly one of the hands down, like the easiest and best survival skills in the game. Even if you have like 0 points in intelligence, the base healing it does is pretty decent, and it gets you a constant trickle. It completely changes how you approach combat and dealing with enemies in the game. Instead of like chugging potions or burning through bandages, like you'll just hang out for a second and let your health bar tick back all the way to full, and then you're good. And of course, if you're playing like a mage or a battle mage, this skill is like ridiculously strong, as you can imagine. The more intelligence that you have, the faster the healing. But legitimately, you can find value in almost every single build. It helps keep you topped off, it saves resources, and it makes you way, way harder to kill. Again, pair that with double jump. One skill that I really enjoy is Blink. This skill basically swaps out your dodge roll for a short range teleport. It's located in between the healer and the battle mage paths, trees, whatever you want to call them. And Blink is one of the top tier defensive skills that honestly you could benefit from almost any build. The dodge roll is good, don't get me wrong. However, teleport is better. So from what I've tested is that the dodge roll doesn't necessarily give you any iframes or invulnerability frames, meaning if you timed a dodge roll appropriately while a boss is swinging, this doesn't necessarily negate the attack. If you're still within the range, you're still going to get hit. Blink lets you instantly reposition in combat, phasing through enemies and appearing behind them or zipping in and out of huge area of effects, pretty quickly, and it's something that a normal dodge really never could do as far as an escape mechanism. It's fast, it's precise, and it opens up a lot of different options, especially if you're in a melee build trying to get behind an enemy and get some of those backstab damages. Or honestly, you could just use Blink to create some distance, and it's fantastic, especially for those ranged builds. It takes a little bit of getting used to, honestly. I probably died a little bit more than I should have with it, but Blink feels straight up like an upgrade to your character's core movement. Now, this one obviously isn't as cool as all the other combat skills, but trust me, it'll save you a lot of hours in grinding and we'll say chopping away or hacking away. The Mason skill. This one boosts your pickaxe damage against stone and resource veins by 30%. In early game, your progress is chained to essentially how quickly you can gather resources. You need a mountain of stone for your base, your crafting stations. You need to upgrade the flame altar. So hitting rocks with your pickaxe can be kind of slow and a little bit mind-numbing. The Mason speeds up this process dramatically, and you'll be spending less time whacking away at rocks and probably more time enjoying the game. I don't know. Some people enjoy just digging into the... I do. I like digging. I don't know. I might be a mole. There's a similar skill for the logging, which is the woodcutter, which is also good, but stone is used basically for a lot of different things early on, and it's kind of like a bottleneck. So just like 2 quick points, and it's quality of life improvement. It's a smart investment, especially as you're getting started in the game. Now, these last two I want to talk about are more depending on combat, and it's essentially how you want to start and end combat. So let's go ahead and talk about the sneak attack. One of the most powerful weapons in your early game arsenal is sneak attack. This skill, it's a central skill, gives you a 2x damage multiplier on any enemy that hasn't spotted you. This is how you're essentially going to be trying to start every fight. Before you go charging into a group of enemies, you need to be starting from stealth. So crouching, and then with any halfway decent bow, you can shoot near the enemies to distract them so that their backs are turned to you. Your sneak attack lets you get up nice and close and then nearly one-shot almost any enemy in the game, depending on if they are very close to your level and your gear, of course. But essentially, in one brutal swing, you could take out the biggest bad in that group, and now you only have to deal with like the weaker guys. And honestly, this is kind of like, it's like thinning the herd, really, but making fights a little bit more approachable is really a smart way to do things. It works for any build. Honestly, you know, even if you're like a pure melee, we'll say a mage, I've made an assassin build off of it just to play that kind of play style. But honestly, you could find use for it, or you could not. Honestly, some people just like to jump in and start attacking and not have to worry about being sneaky. Now, right next to sneak attack is it's kind of like more important cousin, we'll say. This is the Merciless Attack. This skill essentially lets you to perform a powerful finisher on an enemy that you've filled their stun bar with. This is kind of like a fantastic hit for dealing with tough elite enemies, big enemies. Once you break that bar, they're basically vulnerable for a one-shot. You fill the enemy's stun bar by parrying their attacks or smashing through their guard while they're blocking, and then once they're staggered, Merciless Attack lets you basically execute them. It's really, really strong, it's really powerful, and early on you'll run into enemies that feel like they're kind of damage sponges, like they can take quite a bit of damage, especially if your weapons aren't all that strong. So trying to chip away at their health is kind of like boring and maybe a little bit dangerous, but mostly boring. Merciless Attack allows you to essentially just to one-shot them from almost like any part of their HP bar. It rewards you for getting good also at parry, which parrying in this game is an important skill, especially if you're playing a melee build. It's really, really important to be able to block enemy attacks and time that appropriately to fill up that stun bar. But it also gives you kind of like a reliable way to take high threat targets off the board. And honestly, this build is 100% required if you're in melee in any way, shape, or form. If you are running a melee build or an assassin build, it's just too damn strong. So those are the skills. Those are the skills that I would recommend are the most important, especially early game in Enshrouded. I mean, like there's so many different ways that you can go with builds, and I want you to understand that this is not necessarily gospel. You can literally make any build that works for you, and if it does work for you, great, fantastic. These are the ones that I would just recommend are good choices, especially if you're just getting started here in Enshrouded. If this guide did help you out, do me a solid, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more Enshrouded content. I've got more Enshrouded guides coming your way, so I'd like to see you there. If you are interested in seeing how you can level up pretty quickly, you can click this video here to see all the little tips that you need to power level to max. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.